Hi guys, hello, how are you? This is teacher Rana to teach you another 3 patterns for today. And as I keep on asking you guys to prepare a piece of paper and your pen, because before discussing the pattern, we will have first your listening. Are you ready guys? Now please kindly listen to our 3 patterns for today. Let's have our first pattern, and that is pattern 24 is what about? Okay, what about? Let's have the first one. What about tomorrow? What about tomorrow? Number 2. What about this one? What about this one? Third one. What about your brother? What about your brother? 4. What about your promise? What about your promise? And number 5. What about the road construction? What about the road construction? Let's have and repeat it one more time for a review. Number 1 is, what about tomorrow? What about this one? What about your brother? What about your promise? And number 5, what about the road construction? So let's have it now. For our second pattern, kindly be ready for it. Second pattern is, what if? What if? Step 1, number 1. What if I don't make it in time? What if I don't make it in time? Number 2. What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? Number 3. What if I can't get a ticket? What if I can't get a ticket? And number 4. What if I miss the bus? What if I miss the bus? Number 5. What if I get fired? What if I get fired? Let's have the review now. Number 1. What if I don't make it in time? 2. What if you're wrong? 3. What if I can't get a ticket? 4. What if I miss the bus? And number 5, what if I get fired? Let's move on for our third pattern for today, and that is, what I want to ask is. What I want to ask is. Let's have number 1. What I want to ask is, why did you do it? What I want to ask is, why did you do it? Number 2. What I want to ask is, how could this happen? What I want to ask is, how could this happen? Number 3. What I want to ask is, who is responsible for this? What I want to ask is, who is responsible for this? Number 4. What I want to ask is, can I borrow some money? What I want to ask is, can I borrow some money? And the last one for number 5. What I want to ask is, why are you living? What I want to ask is, why are you living? Let's have now for the review. Please kindly prepare your notes for that. Number 1. What I want to ask is, why did you do it? 2. What I want to ask is, how could this happen? And 3. What I want to ask is, who is responsible for this? 4. What I want to ask is, can I borrow some money? And number 5. What I want to ask is, why are you living? Okay, now let's discuss our 3 patterns for today. And as I told you guys, our first pattern is what about? But before that, let's try to check your sentences. Are you ready? Let's have the first one. Okay, let's have the first sentences. So the first one is, what about tomorrow? Okay, next one is, what about this one? Third one, what about your brother? And number 4, what about your promise? Okay, for the last, number 5, what about the road construction? Now probably guys, you are wondering and you are asking how and where do we usually use what about? Well, most of the time guys, we need some ideas from the other people, right? And most of the time, people can give you a suggestion by telling, what about this one? Or what about this situation? And then what about is most of the time we use this by giving a suggestion or you are trying to recommend something to someone. And don't forget to follow up with your base verb after this pattern. So there you go guys, that will be our first pattern for today. Let's move on now for our second pattern. Please kindly check and correct your spelling. First sentence is, what if? First one is, what if I don't make it in time? Next one. What if you're wrong? Third one. What if I can't get a ticket? Next, what if I miss the bus? And next one is, what if I get fired? So let's move on now for the second pattern, which is what if. Now, let's have the sentences first. Okay, according to this one, guys, so to see what if you are still trying to give a suggestion or information, but you don't have the assurance yet. So it's a suggestion, but you are creating your own situation using your imaginary thinking, or probably you're just trying to assume about it. So that is what if. Okay, so there you go guys, and kindly please don't forget to use plus base and your verb. So that will be our second pattern for today. Let's move on now for the third one. Third pattern is, what I want to ask is. First one, what I want to ask is, what I want to ask is, why did you do it? Second one. Okay, what I want to ask is, how could this happen? Next, what I want to ask is, who is responsible for this? Next, number 4. What I want to ask is, Can I borrow some money? And number 5, what I want to ask is, okay, so the last one for number 5 is, what I want to ask is, why are you living? Now let's have this third pattern. So we usually use what I want to ask is when you are trying to repeatedly clarifying or asking a question. Okay? So probably at first, you try to ask something with your friend, but unfortunately, your friend cannot really understand it. So you can repeat it, or maybe probably your friend misunderstood what you were saying. And there you go. You can use what I want to ask is in that time. Okay? So we usually use it by repeatedly asking or clarifying a question, and don't forget it with your base verb. Now guys, those are our 3 patterns for today, and let's try to have a review once again. The first one is, what about? Let's have number 1. What about tomorrow? 2. What about this one? 3. What about your brother? 4. What about your promise? And the last one is number 5. What about the road construction? And don't forget to use it by giving a suggestion or a statement. Next one is, that is, what if? What if I don't make it in time? What if you're wrong? What if I can't get a ticket? What if I miss the bus? And what if I get fired? And most of the time, you are giving a suggestion without assurance for this. Let's have the third one now. What I want to ask is, why did you do it? What I want to ask is, how could this happen? What I want to ask is, who is responsible for this? What I want to ask is, can I borrow some money? And the last one is, what I want to ask is, why are you leaving? And don't forget to use it by repeatedly asking or clarifying a question. There you go guys, this will be our 3 patterns for today. I'll see you again next time. Have a great day.